Hello everyone and welcome back. Let's continue our discussion on the zip and enumerate functions. We saw that we could use the zip function to iterate over two lists in parallel. Let's see some more example of the zip function. We can say zip, let's say we can pass a list 1, 2, 3. Then we can also pass another list, let's say 11, 12, and 13. So we get a list containing tuples, right? So the first element from our first list with the first element from our second list, and so on. We can also, instead of passing a list, we can use the range function. For instance, we can say range 10, and for our second list item, we can pass another range, let's say 1 to 20 in step sizes of 2, for instance. Okay, so we have 0 from our first list with 1 from our second list, then 1, 3, 2, 5, and so on. This is in case if both of our lists are of equal lengths. What if our lists are not equal lengths? What do you think will happen? For instance, if I change this to, let's say, range 1 to 34 in step sizes of 2. So in this case, only the shortest list will be considered. So we'll get a list containing a tuple from our two lists, but the length will be the length of the shortest list. So our first list is of length 10, whereas this list is of length 17. So if we run this, we get a list containing tuples, right? The shortest lengths. Similarly, if I make the first list longer, so range 1 to 100, and then run this, we'll get the resulting list will be of this length. So we'll have 17 pairs of items from the first and second list. So if we run this, we get up to, right, 16, 33. That's the last element here. Good. We can also use the zip function to create dictionaries. For instance, if we have two lists containing keys and values, we can use the zip function and then pass them into the dictionary function so that we get a dictionary object. Let me show you an example of what I just said. Let's say we have a list containing keys, key 1, key 2, and key 3. Let's say for values, we use value 1, value 2, and value 3. What we can do is we can use the zip function and then pass to zip this keys and values to iterate over these two lists in parallel, and then we'll pass our result into the dictionary function. So we'll cast it to a dictionary. So first, we'll use the zip function and then pass keys and values. So this will produce a zip product, right? A list containing items from both of our lists. What we can do next is we can take that zip function and then cast everything to a dictionary. So we can say dict and then cast our result, and we can save this in a dictionary object. Let's say dictionary1. Now if we call our dictionary1 object, we get a dictionary containing keys and values from our original lists, right? Key 1, value 1, key 2, value 2, and then key 3, value 3. Next, let's see an example of how we can use the enumerate and zip functions together. So we will get, in this case, so the zip function gives us elements from the first list and the second list, right? By including the enumerate function, we'll add an index. So this result will be index 1, the first index, which is 0, and then this will be index 1, index 2, and so on. Let's see an example. So earlier we have created two lists in the previous lecture. If we call list 1, we have a list containing the elements A, B, C, D. And if we call list 2, we have those elements. Now we'll use zip and enumerate together to add an index for our results. But we can say for I, and then let's say X and Y in enumerate, and then we'll pass the zip function, zip, and then list 1 and list 2. We pass our two lists, right? So here, first, we are using the zip function to iterate over these two lists in parallel, and then we're calling the enumerate function on the result of this, so that it adds an index to the result, not individually. So we don't want 0A, 0AA in the same line, right? We want the index 0 and then elements from our list 1 and list 2. So 0 and then A, comma, AA. That will be in one row. And then it goes on like that. So for I and then XY in enumerate, and we have our zip function, we can simply print I and then our elements X and Y. So if we run this, we get what? Index 0, right? We have AAA, index 1, BBB, 2, C from the first list, CC from our second list, and we have our last elements. So that's by using that's how we can use the enumerate and zip functions. Or if we want a tuple result, we can do that too. Then we have a tuple containing our elements. We can do that with our fruits example also. Let's call the fruits and I believe colors. Yes, so we have fruits and colors. We can say for I and then fruit and color in enumerate. Then we will zip our fruits list and then colors list, right? Then we can simply print I, which will be the index, and then fruit, and then the color. So we have 0 orange, strawberry, orange, yellow, 1 is strawberry red, 2 kiwi green. We can also say print I, and let's say the color of the fruit. You can say is. You can also do that, and if we run it, we get So index 0, right, the first element, the color of orange is yellow, and then the color of strawberry is red. Then we have our last index 2, and the color of kiwi is green. You can also do that. So this is how we can use the enumerate and zip function. There is also another method called the izip method that can give us the same result. Let me quickly show you the izip method. It's found in the ETL Tools module, so we'll need to import the ETL Tools module. So from ETL Tools, we'll import the izip and then count methods. So this is just to show you how we can get the same result like here by using this izip and count methods found in the ETL Tools module. So we can say for I, X and Y in izip, and then we'll pass the count method. So what the count method does is it will keep track of the index, so it will start with 0 and then go on. So we have our count and then pass our two lists, list 1, list 2, and then we print our variables I, X and Y. So we run it and we get the same result. The only difference between using this method and then the zip and enumerate functions is in terms of speed. So using this izip and count methods is much faster than using this method. Well, this method is much faster in terms of speed. So we can also use that for our fruits example. We can say for I, fruit, and then color in izip, and then count. We have our two lists, which is fruits and colors. Colors, we can print I, and then the color of, we have our fruit is, then so fruit, and then we have color. Run it, we get the same result. So index 0, we can also add a colon here if we want, right? 0 colon, and then the color of, so 0 colon, let's add a space here, run it again. So the color of orange is yellow, the color of strawberry is red, and finally we have the color of kiwi is green. We can do that. So that's how we can use the izip and count methods, which is similar to using the enumerate and zip functions. I just wanted to quickly show you that we can use these methods. So to summarize, we have seen the enumerate and zip functions, and we saw that we can use those to add index to our list object, which is the enumerate method, and the zip function or method allows us to iterate over two lists in parallel. Great, thank you everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.